In the previous episode, we followed the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo and the story of 19-year-old Gavrilo Princip. 2 gunshots changed history forever, but were they really enough to start World War I? In this episode, we'll uncover what happened next and see how Europe descended into war. If you haven't watched Part 1 yet, click the link at the top of the screen before continuing. Now, there's one important question. How could the deaths of just 2 people trigger a war that would kill millions? The truth is, the answer had begun years before that day. If you had traveled across Europe a few years before the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, you probably wouldn't have noticed anything unusual. The streets were crowded, the cafes were full, factories were running at full capacity, trains arrived and departed on schedule. From the outside, Europe seemed peaceful. But beneath that calm, fear was quietly growing. The great powers of Europe no longer trusted one another. Every nation feared that one of its rivals might become stronger. And that fear pushed them all into a dangerous arms race. Germany was expanding at an astonishing pace. Its factories produced more steel than ever before. Its army grew larger every year. And it built massive battleships capable of challenging Britain's naval dominance. With every new battleship Germany launched, Britain felt less secure. For decades, Britain had ruled the seas. Now, a rapidly rising power was beginning to challenge that position. France had its own reasons to fear Germany. 40 years earlier, it had suffered a humiliating defeat. It had lost Alsace and Lorraine. The wound had never truly healed. France was waiting for the right moment to restore its pride. In Eastern Europe, Russia pursued its own ambitions. It saw itself as the protector of the Slavic peoples. That is why it supported Serbia. But that support terrified Austria-Hungary. If Serbia grew stronger, millions of Slavs living inside the Austria-Hungarian Empire might demand independence. And if they did, the empire itself could begin to fall apart. Europe wasn't simply divided by rival ambitions, it was divided by promises. 2 powerful alliances stood ready: Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy, France and Britain. Each had pledged the same thing: if you are attacked, we will fight beside you. At first, these alliances seemed like the perfect way to prevent war. Instead, they made war far more dangerous. Europe had become a row of dominoes. All it would take was for one to fall, and the rest would follow. As if that weren't enough, nearly every country was preparing for war. Factories worked day and night producing weapons. Armies grew larger every year. Machine guns rolled off production lines. Heavy artillery filled military arsenals. Giant warships entered the seas. Every government insisted, these weapons are only for defense. But history has shown, time and again, when every nation prepares for war, peace becomes dangerously fragile. And then, on the morning of June 28, 1914,
the spark finally came. But World War I had still not begun. Gavrilo Princip's bullets had only started the countdown. Now the future of Europe rested in the hands of its leaders. Over the next few weeks, they would make a series of decisions. Decisions that would drag an entire world into war. And one ultimatum would make turning back impossible.